Picture the world as it stood on the eve of 1900. This was a period of immense historical significance, marked by a series of events that would shape the course of history. However, it was far from a time of tranquility. Rather, it was characterized by widespread turbulence and unrest. One of the primary drivers of this instability was the process of industrialization. This term refers to a profound transformation of how goods were manufactured, with the advent of factories and machinery playing a crucial role. While this brought about remarkable technological advancements and innovations, it also gave rise to socio-economic challenges, including significant wealth disparities and the mass migration of people to urban centers. Another significant factor contributing to the upheaval was the phenomenon of mass politics. This concept reflects to the growing involvement of ordinary citizens in influencing the governance of their respective nations. People began to demand essential rights, such as fair treatment in workplaces and the right to participate in the political process through voting. Amid these sweeping changes, the world grappled with considerable uncertainty. Monarchs who had traditionally held positions of authority in many countries were witnessing a decline in their power. Join us as we embark on a journey back in time to an era characterized by a profound sense of instability and uncertainty about the future. Let's talk about the big empires that were running the show in 1900. These were like the heavyweight champions of their time, and they had a huge impact on the world. Here are the key players. Manchu China. China was ruled by the Manchu dynasty. It was massive and ancient, with a rich history that went back thousands of years. China was known for its impressive culture, including things like the Great Wall and the famous Terracotta Army. But in 1900, it was facing some challenges, like internal conflicts and pressure from outside forces. Ottoman Turkey. The Ottoman Empire was like a bridge between Europe and Asia. Istanbul, then called Constantinople, was its thriving capital. The Ottomans were known for their powerful military and their rule over many different people and regions. Romanov Russia. Russia was ruled by the Romanov family, and it was the largest country in the world. It stretched across Eastern Europe and Asia, and it was known for its vast landscapes and harsh winters. Russia was a major player in global politics, and it had its eyes on expanding its influence. Habsburg Austria. The Habsburg Empire was a bit like a patchwork quilt of different lands and people. It was known for its multicultural makeup, with lots of different languages and cultures. Vienna was its capital, and it played a big role in European politics. Each of these empires had its own unique characteristics and strengths. They influenced everything from trade and politics to culture and religion. But they were also facing challenges and changes as the world around them evolved. So, in the world of 1900, these empires were like the giants of the global stage, each with its own story to tell. The new imperial powers. Now, let's turn our attention to some of the new kids on the block who had become major imperial players in the 50 years before year 1900. These were the up-and-comers who were making their mark on the world stage. British Empire. The British were the big shots of the imperial world in the 1900s. Their empire was enormous, covering a quarter of entire planet. The sun never set on British territory because they had so many colonies and territories all around the globe. They were known for their powerful navy and vast overseas holdings. French Empire. The French went far behind the British when it came to imperialism. They had their own impressive empire that spanned the globe. French was the language of diplomacy in many parts of the world, and they were known for their cultural influence. German Empire. Germany had only recently become a unified country in 1870, but it wasted no time in joining the Imperial Club. It had a strong industrial base and a formidable army. Germany was eager to expand its reach and influence. Italian Empire. Italy was another newcomer to the imperial scene. It was a bit late to the game compared to the others, but it was determined to catch up. Italy had its eyes on territories in Africa, and it was hungry for colonial power. These new imperial powers were flexing their muscles on the global stage. The British, in particular, were a force to be reckoned with, covering vast expanses of land and sea. They had been expanding their control into Africa and the Pacific Islands since the 1870s, adding to their already impressive empire. One notable event during this time was the Battle of Adwa in 1895, when Abyssinia, modern-day Ethiopia, defeated Italian forces. It was a significant moment because it showed that even new empires could face setbacks, and it highlighted the challenges of imperial expansion. So, as we look back at 1900, we see a world that the old empires were still hanging on, but these new players were making their presence known and shaping the course of history. In the late 19th century, the influence of Europe on the rest of the world was undeniable. European languages and religion were spreading far and wide, often replacing native languages and indigenous belief systems. This cultural shift was a consequence of European colonialism and global trade. One of the most noticeable effects of European influence was the spread of European languages. As European powers expanded their empires, they brought their languages with them. In many colonized regions, European languages became the lingua franca, or common language, for administrative and commercial purposes. This language shift had a profound impact on local cultures, as native languages struggled to compete with the dominance of European tongues. Similarly, European religion, particularly Christianity, made significant inroads around the world. Most regions outside of China had either adopted Christianity or were ruled by Christian officials. This religious transformation often accompanied European colonialism and missionary efforts. The spread of Christianity, along with European languages, played a pivotal role in shaping the cultural landscape of many nations. European influence extended beyond language and religion. It also manifested in the realm of trade. European powers dominated global trade routes, facilitating the exchange of goods and ideas. European merchants and companies established vast trading networks that connected continents. The economic impact of European trade was immense, as it influenced local economies and shaped the production of goods in distant lands. In addition to trade, European armies and navies played a crucial role in maintaining control of the vast territories. European nations bolstered their military presence in their colonies and used force to assert dominance. The formidable European military machine had a profound impact on the balance of power in various regions, often suppressing local resistance and preserving European control. The influence of Europe in the late 19th century was not merely economic and political, it was also cultural and religious. European languages and religion spread across the world, altering the fabric of societies. European trade networks connected distant corners of the world, and European military mind maintained control of the vast territories. This era marked a period of significant global transformation under the shadow of European influence. Japan's imperial ambitions. Japan, nestled in East Asia, embarked on its own imperial journey in the late 19th century. The island nation was inspired by Europe's advancements and sought to build its empire, a decision that had profound consequences for the region. In 1895, Japan acquired Formosa, known today as Taiwan, through the Treaty of Shimonoseki, which marked the end of the First Sino-Japanese War. This acquisition was a significant step in Japan's imperial ambitions. Formosa provided Japan with valuable resources and strategic positioning in the East Asian theater. It was a demonstration of Japan's growing regional power. In 1910, Japan went a step further by annexing Korea, a move that solidified its imperial ambitions on the Korean peninsula. The annexation of Korea followed the Japan-Korea Annexation Treaty, which effectively placed Korea under Japanese colonial rule. This event marked a turning point in East Asian geopolitics and had far-reaching consequences for both countries. Japan's decision to build its empire was heavily influenced by its observation of European powers. The rapid modernization and expansion of European empires served as a model for Japan. The Meiji Restoration, which began in 1868, initiated a period of radical transformation in Japan. The nation modernized its institution, economy, and military, drawing inspiration from European industrialization and imperial expansion. Japan's imperial ambitions were driven by a desire to secure resources, ensure strategic dominance in East Asia, and establish itself as a formidable global player. The impact of Japan's imperial expansion would be felt throughout the 20th century, shaping the dynamics of East Asia and contributing to the global events of the era. Japan's journey from a feudal society to a modern imperial power was a testament to its adaptability and ambition on the world stage. The deceptive appearance of imperial dominance. While the late 19th century witnessed the apparent zenith of European imperial dominance, the facade of control masked deeper complexities that were reshaping the global landscape. At the turn of the century, the world seemed firmly under the influence of European powers, with their sprawling colonial empires stretching across continents. European languages and religion were rapidly supplanting native tongues and beliefs in regions far removed from the European heartland. European trade routes spanned the globe, and European armies and navies projected authority across distant shores. However, this veneer of imperial might concealed profound undercurrents of change. Nationalism was a potent force reshaping Europe. The unification of Italy in 1860 and the subsequent formation of the German Empire in 1871 exemplified the profound influence of nationalism. These movements demonstrated that people yearned for self-determination and autonomy, challenging the traditional order of monarchies and empires. By 1900, agitation for national autonomy had spread across Europe. Peoples within multi-ethnic empires sought greater self-governance and cultural preservation. The Austro-Hungarian, Ottoman, and Russian empires, among others, faced internal strife driven by these nationalist aspirations. Curiously, while parliamentary rule had been established in Britain, Italy, and France, their colonial empires still operated under more authoritarian systems. This divergence raises the question of why these European powers championed democracy at home while maintaining autocratic control over distant territories. The answer lies in the complex interplay of national interests, economic ambitions, and imperial governance. As we delve deeper into this period, we must confront the paradox of imperial dominance masking growing calls for national self-determination, a tension that will define the course of the 20th century. The world in 1900 stood at a crossroads. The tensions between imperial control and the aspirations of nations were poised to define the course of the 20th century. It was a moment when the old order hanged on the brink of monumental change, shaped by the forces of nationalism and the challenges to imperial dominance. As we move forward in our exploration of this pivotal moment of the world history, we must remain mindful of the dynamic forces that were about to reshape our world.